Hello, everybody. We are just recording here in Barcelona. There is VMware Explore 2023 happening. And look who's next to me, Adam.
Pleasure.
How have you been? Last month we met was in Johannesburg, I think, right?
Yes.
Believe it or not.
Absolutely, yeah. And
Cool.
here we are, VMware
Here
Explore.
we go. And I've seen, you were a busy guy, right, this week. You had many sessions, going on. Can you tell me more about the topics you covered in those different sessions you had today?
Yeah,
Or
absolutely.
yesterday as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this week was a blast. We had 5 sessions.
Right.
One, me and Cody Husterman. We
Okay.
talked about EVS, the Azure VMware Solution latest integrations.
We'll get back to that in a minute because
Yes,
that's very
absolutely.
important.
Yeah, and then I had 3 more sessions about Azure VMware Solution. We're gonna talk about. I
Right.
talked about
Okay.
the lifecycle management automation for the storage integration we have. Also about the replication features that we have that comes free with the Purity, right?
Excellent.
And one, which is one of my favorites, is the newest PowerShell SDK that added to the family of our PowerShell SDKs, the backup SDK. It's in beta release now, but
Right.
I urge you to go and search for it and go start
And this
trying
is for
it
the
out.
V4 integration, right?
Absolutely,
It's a deep dive
that
on
works
it.
for the
Okay,
default.
that's excellent.
Yes.
So if we go back to AVS, right? So Azure VMware Solution, and the solution we actually announced about a month ago, right?
Yes.
And in Accelerate in London, we were in Johannesburg, but there was something going on in London that week.
Mhm.
And I've heard this morning when you presented, you were talking about the disaster recovery for that piece, but I
Yes.
know with Cody you presented the whole picture of it.
Yes.
And I know that you have a customer in South Africa who is actually using it, right? I mean, it's very cool. So can you tell me more about the feedback you're getting from those customers
Yeah,
and
sure.
the main key advantages, for this solution?
Yeah, sure thing. So let's do a step back. I think before we go into like what we had with the Azure VMware Solution,
Yeah.
what made Azure VMware Solution happen in the first place, right?
That's right.
So
Yeah.
3 years ago, we announced the Pure Cloud Luxor, our software version of the FlashArray. Everybody loved the FlashArray, so we wanted to make a software version of it, and we put it into Azure and AWS. So as of this year, we had actually released 2 of Azure Pure Cloud Luxor, where we announced how we added more performance to it, and we lowered the cost of the whole underlying infrastructure. So that for around 60%, that's huge. It's an
Absolutely,
and
yes.
to performance and cost optimization, right? And then during this, we were working with Microsoft Azure into how we can integrate this solution, our Pure Cloud Luxor volumes, into the Azure VMware solution. So
Right.
now, Azure VMware solution, you don't need to, if you want to design for like terabytes of that in the cloud, you don't need to care about, hey, I want to have 16 nodes to accommodate, let's say 500
Right.
terabytes.
Yeah, and just to recap, for those people not familiar with, AVS, Azure VMware Solution, this is actually, a full VMware environment that runs on Azure. So for customers running, VMware on-prem, they can leverage that for different use cases, right? Disaster recovery, replication, dev and test, or whatever.
Yes.
But as you mentioned, it's not very cost optimized, right? Because
Absolutely.
it's based on a vSAN type of
It's a hybrid
HCI
converged.
solution, right?
It's a hybrid converged
Hyperconverged,
system.
right?
Absolutely.
So
yes.
if you need a lot of storage, as you mentioned, you need a lot of nodes.
Yes.
But there is a cost, right?
There is a cost.
Right, to do that.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah. So the first use case is how we can reduce the whole total TCO.
Right.
So you don't need actually to go and provision this number of clusters, so you can decouple the storage from the compute.
Yeah. And you've got some numbers, right, to back that, right? I mean, I've
sure
seen
thing.
you've done some studies, right? And to see, look, if we take, 100 TB
Of course. Of
with
course
or
we've done
without
that.
CBS, how much are we saving?
So
Just roughly.
the number can vary, but we usually go and start with what we actually give to one of our customers, around 120 terabytes. They were thinking about having this 120 terabyte on Azure VMware Solution, right?
Yep.
But then they decided, like, hey, let's look in how we can, because we don't need that amount of compute and the memory and CPUs that is going to be a wasted, right? So let's see how we can cost optimize this. And then they looked at Cloud Luxor. So now they're only going from 12 nodes into 3 nodes only for EVS. So
That's
think
huge.
about
That's a huge
that's
saving.
huge. That's
huge.
around 60% of
Wow.
return of investment.
Okay, so that's a nice discussion to start with the customer. But it's TCO is one thing, but it's not only that, right? I mean, we bring additional features. Right now, we've got some enterprise-grade features coming with CBS for storage, right? Such as replication to another AZ, I guess, or availability zone or region, back on-prem, and all those things, right?
So there's mainly three scenarios here.
Okay.
Scenario number one is there's a lot of organization out there. They have some stalled migrations.
Right.
So they want to migrate to Azure
Yep.
because of one, it's a managed service. The lifecycle management is maintained by Microsoft. The support is for them, and you don't need to care about the infrastructure. I mean,
Right.
infrastructure is a cumbersome necessity.
Turnkey solution, right?
Yeah, you know, right?
Yeah,
But also for those customers who just want to migrate there in terms of like, I want to have my DevTest in the cloud so I can run it whenever I want, turn it down whenever I want. I want to replicate back and forth, or I want to put a piece of my production in Azure, right? So all of this will be covered by us because we're going to be doing, we will be unlocking that or unblocking the migration.
Right.
So the array level replication we have with our Purity software, it will optimize your link. So when you send data there,
because we shrink
It
the
will
amount
be-
of data, right? And we know it's
Exactly.
expensive, right? Not only to send it, but also to get it back, right? If you want to
yes,
come back home one of these
absolutely.
days.
We don't
I see
send the
that.
same byte twice.
Yep. So
That's the tagline
yeah.
there.
And how
Yeah.
about Evergreen in the cloud? Because I understand our CBS running. I mean, today you are using some type of, Azure instances to run it, but tomorrow is there is something bigger, better, faster, or Evergreen storage that we have on-prem will still be available. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. So the evergreen
Right.
model or the promise we had with our customers, it two things. One, it's how our models or our products get there on the go,
Right.
right? So every single time we have a new components will be added to our software. It's just going to be a hardware for FlashArray. It's going to just be a hardware component, non-disruptive
Yeah,
upgrade,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So they
so,
get the
yeah,
new
yeah,
controllers
yeah.
from release 3 to release 4.
Mhm.
For CPS, it's just a software, so it's even faster.
Exactly.
When we find
but the
some-
same concept. It's software
same
faster, but
concept.
same concept.
It's an NBU, a non-disruptive upgrades to go for the newer, faster, or cost
Right.
optimized.
Okay. And how about the subscription? Because I understand we have Evergreen One where we can have a subscription in on-prem and in the cloud, but also customers have their own Microsoft contract, right, where they can
Yes.
use that money for that. What's the
Yes.
advantages for them? And I mean, because we're
Yes.
going to save them some money on one side, so Microsoft might say, "Oh, but you're shrinking, but they can invest somewhere else," right? Is that
Yes.
correct?
So this is the way we look at it, and this is how actually Microsoft, our customers, our partners look at it. It's a win-win-win scenario for everybody.
Mhm.
Think about a customer who has a commitment with Microsoft.
Right.
I'm committing with this amount of thousands of dollars, right?
Right.
When we go to them and they're going to be using our software, they will reduce the amount of spend. However, we'll give them that amount of spend that we save for them. They can go and invest it in something else, might renovate or add value to the business. Not going to be putting it into storage.
And smarter, right? This morning on the theater, you mentioned you can do some AI things for
Yes.
whatever makes sense to you better than managing infrastructure, right?
Managing infrastructure
That's
and put
key
that
one.
your money on the storage.
Right. And for
Yeah,
the
but-
customer, it's easy because it's the same pot of money, right?
Yes.
That's-
So
makes
put your
sense.
storage on our platforms. We will
Right.
reduce it, compress it, give you enterprise grade features. You can have a lot of copy data management features, replication features as well. It's going to come all in one package. You don't need to add more licensing and fees on these features, right? And start like enjoying your managing your storage on scale, right?
Wow, that's huge. I think we're going to rock
Yes.
the
Absolutely.
world, right, with this solution.
Absolutely.
I mean, I can't wait to talk to some partners, having Microsoft, in their portfolio and Pure Storage and going to talk to their customers. Because I'm pretty sure some customers started to think about going to AVS, but when they look at the cost, they say, "Oh, no, I cannot afford it," right? But now
Yeah.
we can help them with that.
Yeah, we will help de-risking their business from going to the cloud, so they won't be frightened, scared of going there. We will give them that flexibility. Want to go to the cloud? Yes, you can go. You want to come back? Our Evergreen One subscription can give them this flexibility.
That's great.
And I mean, at the end, we just want to give our customers two things: reducing the operational overhead,
Yep.
and giving them the simplicity they're always looking for.
Yes, it's a win-win. Look, in less than 10 minutes, we covered a lot, right? So I understand there is a lot of information here,
Yes.
and a lot of good things, you can take to your partners, you can take to your customers, or if you are a customer, just, leverage that and come back to us if you were looking at AVS. And by the way, Adam, I didn't do the proper introduction, but you're based in Prague, I think, right?
Yes.
So EMEA time zone for those, partner customers in EMEA is in EMEA. And if you're part of the engineering, you mentioned Cody,
Yes.
Cody Osterman, you're part of the
Yes,
Um,
I work under the product
business
management.
product
Yes.
management.
So we're part of the R&D office. Yes.
So he's a man who knows. You know, when he talks, he knows behind it. And he can, take a keyboard and show you how it works, right?
Absolutely. On the go.
Adam, thanks a lot for this
Absolutely.
chat. So
Thank
I
you
was
so much.
happy to see you last month in Joburg, today or this week in Barcelona. I don't know
Who knows?
what's next.
Yes.
We'll see.
Sure thing.
Until next time, Adam.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot. Thanks for watching, everyone. So we were in Barcelona, VMware Explore 2023. Thanks for watching. Cheers.